So now we're going to talk about the surface area of cylinders. And what I want you to do is, I have a paper one right here. I know it's fancy, but it will show us what we need to. And actually we're going to start with this one. Yep, shampoo bottle from Disney World from over 10 years ago. So here's a cylinder. If I want to find the surface area of it, well obviously I'm going to find the surface area of this, which is a circle, and I have two of them. So that's easy. I'm going to have two circles. So two circles. Vary the base, I'm going to have two of them. The confusing part comes when we think about how much paper, so if I have this right here, how much paper does this take? Okay, so we have to find out what is this. And notice it's a rectangle. Okay, it's a rectangle, and part of it is just the height of the pyramid, of the prism, excuse me, of the cylinder. But what is the other one? So let's look at this one right here. So if I take this one apart, okay, so here's my rectangle. Like I said, one of them is the height. That's the easy part. So the height is going to be one side of my rectangle. But what is this length? So that would be like the width. Here's my length. What is that? Well, watch when I roll it back up, and watch when I put it back with a circle on it. See how this matches up with the circle? So this distance around here, this right here goes around a circle. So what do we call it if it goes around the circle? The circumference, exactly. And that's what this is pointing to here. We're not going to use this formula. That one's not the common one. What we're going to use is surface area is equal to two circles, so 2 times the area of the circles, plus the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r, and that is the length, and then the height is the width. So this is the formula we're going to be using. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So as long as we have a radius, we're just going to plug everything in, and we're going to use our calculators to do it. So here we go. Just plug everything in here. So 2 times pi times the radius, 3.5 squared, plus, now I'm going to find the circumference, so 2 times 3.14 times the radius of 3.5 times the height of the cylinder. Now pull out your calculator and you can just enter this directly in. Now, since we're going to enter it directly in, you want to do it once, write down the number, and then double check it, because whenever you're using the calculator, you could easily make a mistake. So here we go. Just enter this in. 2 times 3.14 times 3.5 squared plus 2 . I came up with 186.83. Let's do it again just to make sure. I'm guessing that's what you came up with too, but you always want to make sure. It's easy to forget a number. Okay, good. So that's our surface area, but it's area, so what's my label on it? Inches, and it's area, so it's squared, because how many sticky notes would I need to put on here to figure out the surface area? Okay, why don't you try number 2? We're going to pause it. You try number 2, and let's make sure we're all right. Go. So you plug all the numbers in, and when you do that, I got 166.7648. Let's double check that. So the first time I got 166.7648, but then the next 3 times, because I wanted to make sure, I came up with 306.2128. Now does it say to round any place? Oh, there it is, round to the nearest tenth. Oh, we forgot to round to the nearest tenth on that one. So this should actually be 186.8 inches squared. We all remembered how to round. Okay, this is what I'm rounding to. If it's 5 or above, I add 1. If it's 4 below, I let it go. Okay, so round to the nearest tenth, 306.2 meters squared. Good. Number 3 is very similar to that, so we're not going to worry about it. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, why am I pausing? Why am I pausing? Right, because this is a diameter. So the first thing we have to do, we have to take the diameter, divide it by 2 in order to find the radius. So we're going to take 21 divided by 2. So that's going to give me 10.5. Sorry. 10.5 is our radius. So again, let's write out our formula. Surface area. I'm going to have 2 circles, so 2 times pi r squared, plus the circumference, 2 pi r, times the height. So let's plug that in, find out an answer, and then double check it. Go! So when I plugged it in, this is what mine looked like. Now let's use our calculators, but you can check your work there first. So I got 1,549.59 twice, so I'm going to go with that. But I have to label it, and I have to round it to the nearest tenth. So here's the nearest tenth. If it's 5 or above, I give it a shove. 4 below, I let it go. So it's above 5, I give it a shove, so I add 1. 1549.6 feet squared. There's our answer. Oh, yay! Look, on number 5, we get to draw it. I love to draw cylinders and three-dimensional objects. So here we go. To draw a cylinder, the interesting thing, even though the top is a circle, you actually draw an oval. Okay, so draw an oval. In math, that's called an ellipse, just to let you know, an ellipse. You'll learn about that in probably pre-calc, maybe algebra 2. Okay, so drop 2 sides. Those are going to be the same length. Okay, now here's the tricky part. I'm going to do it once, then I can erase and do it again. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to go over there. Oh, wait a second. This is a video. You can rewind. So I'm going to do an arc this way. Then I have to do that on the other side to match that arc. So I want an arc on this side that matches it. Okay, something like that. There we go. Okay, the diameter is 20, and the height is 22. Okay, so what's the first thing we have to do? That's right, find the radius. If the diameter is 20, the radius is 10. Now I just do our formula. Surface area equals, I have 2 circles, so 2 times pi r squared, plus their circumference, 2 pi r, times the height. Plug those numbers in. Let's find a number. Are you ready? Go! So I ran out of space on mine, but I want you to see, this is supposed to be a 22 down here. So check your work so far and see if you had all that. Now let's use our calculators. So I got 2009.6 each time. I don't have to round it because it's already there. And it was yards. So it's going to be yards squared. Yes? Good. And that's the end of the notes. I know you're disappointed for this section. Let's look at the homework. So the homework, we just give you cylinders, just watch to, round to the nearest tenth, round to the nearest tenth. Show your steps. It's basically write down the formula, plug in the formula, use your calculator. It's 3 lines. And just make sure, if you're given a diameter, find the radius first. Okay, just watch for that. Let's see on the back side. Yep, same thing. Oh, hey, we get to draw a cylinder here. So here we go. Let's draw a cylinder. Remember, we draw an oval, or mathematically that's called an ellipse. Then we're going to draw down our 2 lines. Make our front arc. And dash the back one. Okay? Diameter of 38.2. And a height of 50. Great. Okay. There's our homework. That one shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, so from now, for today anyway, let's see where we're at tomorrow. If any time you need to ask a question, email me is always a good way, but if it's during your class, you can just jump into a Google Meet. I am always there. We just might not have it running in the class, so just feel free to just jump into a Google Meet. Use code FIPS. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks.